Very good evening, friends. It's been an honor to have Nisreen Mamaji. She's a well-known face across the mutual fund industry, and she's a dear friend of mine. And I don't know how many of you know, saying that the monthly magazines which FIFA comes out every month is edited by Nisreen from almost around now three years. She's been editing, and it's been an we want to thank her for giving her support and her time to edit that and come out every month on time. And thank you so much, Nisreen, for that. And I think whatever I'm going to introduce Nisreen is going to be just a small portion of what she does. Nisreen has been in the field of financial planning and mutual fund distribution from since 1993. And when she started her career with American International Group in Dubai, her campus placement for her MBA was in Lintas, India, as an assistant client executive. She started a financial services practice 15 years ago and currently deals with 300 families. She is the CEO of MoneyWorks FS, which is the financial service providing clients with unbiased and unrestricted advice regarding their current financial and prospective financial status. Their primary aim is to ensure clients' goals are met, therefore strive to maintain excellent service standards and build long-lasting relationships. MoneyWorks focus is to streamline and simplify the investment process by de-jargonizing and providing transparency. Great care is taken to ensure that their solution match the risk tolerance levels of client. The team consists of 4 members who specialize in research, operations, client support, and marketing. They are competent and well-versed with providing support to clients with reasonable time frame. They currently have an asset under management of over 100 plus crores and service to close to 400 families as their chief financial officers in their role of chief financial planners and AMFI registered mutual fund distributors and insurance advisors too. Nisreen is often quoted in business newspapers and replies to queries in mutual fund experts in Economic Times, Mint, and Business Standard, as well as answers queries on insurance related topics. I like to invite Nisreen to take it forward, and we like to listen to you, Nisreen, very keenly. Thank you. Thank you once again. And I also want to share saying that I'm so sorry. I had to give her, I called her up 4 days back and I said, Nisreen, you have to do this event for us. And she was not reluctant at all. And she took this initiative. Thank you so much for that, Nisreen. And we are all indebted here.
Thank you so much, Rupa, for the lovely introduction. And of course, FIFA stands for all of us, and together we will achieve more. So it's always a pleasure to participate at all our events. And, I'm always available to the team, thank you once again for the introduction. I've selected to speak on a few things that I thought would be, important to the rest of our community. Which is basically platforms, processes, and possibly social media marketing to take your business to the next level. Now, let's start with with platforms. So basically, 1 minute. Today we have technology at our behest, and the only way to grow our business and to take it to the next level is to use technology, judiciously. So technology, having said that, technology cannot substitute the human interaction that we provide for our services, because we are not AI or robots, in the business, but we can use robots and technology to the best of our ability and, genuinely make this work. So at our business, I'm going to share with you some of our best practices that we follow at MoneyWorks Financial Services. So we are registered with National Stock Exchange, the NSE NMF, with the BSE Star and MF, with the Morningstar Advisor workstation, and we use for our reporting the Vijaya, iPrism, iInvest. I'm sure a lot of us will be using some of these platforms and would already know how user-friendly at least NSE NMF is. Because from the distributor side, it's basically trying to create, armchair business, and all the onboarding, all the operational level is all at the end of a switch or a button. So gone are the days when we have to call up investor, send somebody for signatures, process that at a CAMS or a Karvi desk, and it's such a long drawn out process that even unfortunately KYC we still have to deal with. If it's not an online KYC, we still have to submit the papers and the proofs. So that is a time consuming exercise, but the rest of it actually is much, much faster. And we can deal with volume and numbers much easily once you decide that, okay, I'm recommending this particular quarter, these are the funds that are under my review, and these are what I've curated. Maybe you can do this exercise every 3 to 6 months, but the entire purchasing, switching, redemption, and all the little things that we deal with on our daily level can be completely eliminated. All the efforts can be eliminated through these platforms. So as I said, it's gives you a single view of your funds. It's very convenient, and there are multiple payment options, including UPI for the NSE NMF. Now, this is a screen of the purchase orders. So you select your investor, you write down all that you want to give him, punch in all the details, and then you just select done, and the investor will be getting a link. If he's already registered through a mandate, which is an e-mandate registration that you've done in advance, then it's just a click of a button and the OTP is given through that. If not, he'll be connected either to his online banking, or he provides you the RTGS details, or he purchases through UPI. So the main crux of a business is obviously purchase, because redemption and switches, etc., is secondary. But the only way to grow your business and take it to the next level is through the increasing your AUM. That's my understanding. So that part has to be extremely seamless. So this is what we use. And at the end of the day, and especially, of course, weekly or monthly, you will get your entire transaction report, a detailed one, which you can tally with whatever you have done per investor to know and tick off that this is done. If it's not done, then of course, if the client has not given this OTP or has not confirmed the link, then you continue the follow-ups, because each link is valid for about 72 hours. So you have that window to make sure and to follow up with your investor that this process is done. If not done, or if the link expires, then you can complete it. So this part of the process is of course very important, because it's not just initiating, but also following through and making sure that the job is completed. So BSE Star MF also gives sort of a very similar operational efficiency, and these are some of the efficiencies that are available on BSE Star MF. Sorry. So you can use either of the two, whatever you are more comfortable with. In Moneyworks, we started working with National Stock Exchange, the NSE NMF, and we've had a very good experience. Their after-sales service is also very excellent. They close any query within a stipulated time. And so we've continued working with NSE NMF, but BSE Star is equally good. So we also use the Morningstar Advisor workstation, for the in-depth analysis that you need, because with the multiple choices available to us in terms of, where does one invest, and having looked at historical performance, which is obviously not a prospective tool, you need to also look at, people, processes, product. So we basically use the Morningstar Advisor workstation extensively, because we are a certified financial planning firm. And so we, create a customized plan for every investor. So it's not that, a standard size fits all. Of course, we do have our favorite funds for the quarter, which we feel, have performed and on multiple counts, and which we will recommend maybe this quarter or this for the next 6 months. But having said that, every investor has a different story and a different background, a different, demographics and financial background. So we try to customize to the best of our ability. And for that, the Morningstar Advisor workstation really, really helps me a lot. In fact, one of our, peer group, Apsara Shetty, had recommended this AWS to me many years back, and I'm very grateful to her for having for her advice to use this and to subscribe to the workstation, because we find that it's a very important tool. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Faiz Jaipuri, who is part of my team and who basically heads the research department and uses Morningstar very effectively. So Faiz, can you take over from here?
Yes, sure, ma'am. So the Morningstar Advisor workstation, I believe that it has really fast-tracked our whole analysis part of the routine. So be it any sort of investment security such as mutual funds, ETFs, or even direct stocks. So along with the whole in-depth details and analysis which Morningstar in itself offers us, it just helps us see things even more clearly from a whole portfolio perspective. So along with the whole, from the various number of features that it has to offer us, I would like to talk about these three noticeable features which I use quite often when I need to be it give a review to someone or say probably shortlist some funds for someone.
Faiz,
Yeah.
sorry here. Can you just put this on full screen, because certain few people cannot read it. So can you just put this on full screen?
Oh, ma'am, can you put it on?
I'm going to do that. Give me a second.
Sure.
You carry on, Faiz, while I do this.
Okay. So as you all can see out here, the first feature which I would like to talk about is the advanced search feature. So if suppose there is a case wherein we sort of have an idea about what the client's requirement is, like the risk level he falls into, or we have a vague idea about the risk appetite or the tenure. So this tool just basically helps us narrow down our choices even further. So something which might take around 20 to 30 minutes can easily be done within 5 to 10 minutes just using this one tool. So as you all can see in this image which is attached in the slide, the parameters I've used to, as per what I thought would fit the client's requirements, I've put in my parameters. The parameters can vary from advisor to advisor. So it has helped me narrow down to three funds, three simple funds. It's just showing me which meets the criteria I've put in the this in the tool. So it
basically what you've used is you wanted AAA paper, you wanted the yield to maturity to be at about say 6.5%.
Yes.
And you wanted the total number of holdings to be not more than 40. So this is for the fixed income fund that our team was researching, and so from all the number of funds, which is about 10,000, we brought it down to 3 funds, having put some of these filtering processes on. Yeah, go ahead, Faiz.
Yeah, so this really, and then we can obviously from 3 funds, you can come down to the one fund which you probably want to select for the client, because this just made my choices even more on point, this tool, because it just very quickly filtered everything as per my parameters. So this is one thing which I've used quite often. To begin with, I usually start with this, and then once I have an idea, I get like 4-5 funds which I have to choose from. Then this is also one thing which one feature which is very often overlooked, I feel, the common holdings feature. So we all have access to publicly available data on mutual funds, but the underlying holdings which each fund holds, that is something we often overlook, I believe. So it can be noticed out here in the images which I've attached. So for example, the portfolio of Canada Robeco blue chip equity and IDFC large cap is similar by 70%. So if suppose having these two in the same basket would not really make sense as far as diversification is concerned. You will be over allocate, but this is something which we often overlook, I feel, and this just makes it very simpler and more transparent. as far as the underlying holdings is concerned. But on the other hand, as you can see in the same category, Franklin India Blue Chip, it is only similar by 35%. So this can just help us make our choices even more accurately and not overweigh on any specific stock or security using this this tool. So and now coming to this third one, which I think has also made it very simple when you want to view things from a whole portfolio point of view. So first of all, we all have those cash reports available from clients. But this Morningstar Advisor workstation has this facility wherein you can import that report, and then that report is matched with the Morningstar data which is available, and it gives us a whole consolidated view of the whole portfolio. And this is just a 5-minute process. You no more have to fill in those details manually or create a portfolio. There is a direct option of importing it. So I feel this can be used very easily to just give a quick review to a client if he is in need of a review. And apart from that, the whole graphical representations which Morningstar offers, like this scatter plot graph, which can be seen. So you can just put in the benchmark of your own choice. Like in the image, I've put in Nifty 100, and the y-axis represents the mean returns of the past 3 years of the benchmark and the securities which I've put in. And the x-axis is the standard deviation. So you get an idea compared to the benchmark as to how the risk reward aspect of each fund. So it can be noted that the blue dot, which is HDFC FlexiCap, as you can see, it something to look at. The returns, the risk is way higher than the returns it's offering compared to the benchmark. So this just gives a whole standalone view as well as the consolidated portfolio perspective it gives you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Faiz. So
Thank
that's
you.
a little snapshot of, how we are using the advisor workstation. Our reporting instrument, the way that we do the reporting is through Vijaya iPrism, the iInvest the platform, where the investor as well as the distributor stroke advisor has a lot of choices in terms of reporting and what you want to view. So I really like this. I've been using this, from the beginning of my career. In between, I shifted on to some other platform, but when Vijaya iPrism introduced some more features, we've come back, and I think we were possibly going to be staying with them because they have various categories of choices of subscription, and whatever suits you, you can become a member of subscribe to this particular platform. So for the advisor, if you want to see your active SIP report, you will get the entire listing on this kind of a reporting. If you want to view, a transaction report of a particular investor or of a particular day, what are all the reports that, if you want to tally that with your NSE transaction report, for example, this is also a very useful tool because, again, you'll be able to know what transactions have actually been completed, either by your side or by the investor side, and what is still pending for action. And even when you feel, it's also linked with NSE NMF. So you can automatically do all your purchasing and, initiating all your transactions from the this portal itself. So you need not, log into NSE separately. If you're very comfortable with this window and with this portal, you can just use this and continue all your transactions and your reportings from one platform itself. So because they have already consolidated and merged at the back end, you don't have to, log into multiple windows on a daily basis. Otherwise, we're just logging in, logging out, logging in, logging out. But I like this feature. We do use this to some extent, but we also use NSE directly, So I'm just giving you the choices available, whatever you are comfortable with and whatever your team finds easy to operate on, you have at least the choices through NSE NMF. For the client perspective, this is what they get to see. When they log in with their user ID password, they can get to see their dashboards, their various portfolio reports, their SIP management, their capital gains reports. They can get to see their transaction slips and even the STP, whatever STPs are in progress. So I think it's very user friendly even from the client side. You can get to see various reports which normally during tax season, everybody wants to see their capital gains report, or even if they want to just view their family wise holding report, they can easily see it over here. They can convert it to PDF, Excel, they can print it to share it. So there are, it's very user friendly even from the client side. They need not log into money control and, so many other things that I've heard that they are doing. I think this is much simpler when they log into your portal, into your website. And this is co-branded also. So even your logo will come onto it. From the back end, Vijaya, I presume, are operating the entire structure, but from the client side, they get to see it's pretty much whiteboarded, so they get to see your logo. And the capital gains report, of course, will be important in the tax planning time or even otherwise. So this is the kind of report that they get to see, entirely the short-term, long-term grandfathering effect, and they can convert it to PDF or Excel, or they can print it and share it with their own tax consultants. So these are the kind of reports, platforms that we use. In terms of processes, we did some of our own processes, over a period of time. What suited MoneyWorks, it's a kind of an evolving process. I think the processes part of it keeps on evolving. So at any stage, what we feel we need, we make a process immediately, so that we don't have to again ask each other or refer to any documents to know where we are with respect to every investor or every investor family, because there will be multiple things that you need to do per investor. You might have to start a lump sum investment, you might have to do an SIP, you might have to do an STP, you might have to do a switch and a redemption. So it gets very confusing that for this investor, what have you completed? Or you might have to add on some family members. So if you have a process which is working in the background to take it over, I think it would be much simpler for all of us. So I'll share some of our processes that we've kind of created on our own. One is very important, is our rundown. So each of us have a date, the team member assigned, the task, and the status. Of course, the Excel sheet is a little wider, and it goes on to E, F, G, H. There's a lot of details are mentioned, as to what the pending information is and what is balance to be done. But at the drop of a hat, wherever you are, whether you are, it's especially for me, even if I'm just checking on my phone or on my tablet, if I'm not in the office or I'm outside, I can just check on the rundowns and see what is happening in my team.
టైట్ అయిపోతుంది పొట్ట పెట్టేస్తుంది అది ఎలా ఉంటుంది అంతే ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళ కదా హాస్టల్
Excuse me, can you please participate? Please mute your. Can you please mute?
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. So this is a nice rundown strategy that we've created. It's simple, it's effective, and it's very easy to use. Okay, so it's just a Google Sheet, and the rundown is put on this along with the calendar, the Google Calendar, and put an alert for ourselves for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, next week, whatever it is. There's always, whenever there's something going in the rundown, the corresponding alert is also mentioned, so that on that particular date or week, we know what we have to do for what investor. Okay, so it's a combination of the rundown and the calendar that we use for our alerting system. We no longer put it in a diary or any such thing. It's all online, and you can use it from wherever you are. This is another tool that we've used. Now, since no more we have the application forms that we have to actually fill up by hand, etc. And also, since we're not filling up multiple forms of different asset management companies, we've consolidated all the information and created our own Google Sheet. So when the client is ready to be onboarded, they just get a Google link, and they give all their information that you need, which is normally your KYC information, your family members, your banking details, your PAN, Aadhaar, etc., etc. So all that is captured on a Google form. Along with that, we also do a risk tolerance. So that also, there is a Google Sheet attached. So, as you get comfortable talking to your advisor or your distributor, and you're ready to share information, in the onboarding process, we send the Google Sheet initially only, so that we know who we are dealing with, because how many questions can you ask in a conversation? And especially the risk tolerance is a very important tool, whereby, they might say something, when they are talking that, yes, I have a very high risk tolerance, I don't mind volatility, I don't mind losing money. So when you're talking, you want to kind of sound a little more bravo also when you want to start an equity investment. But when we go back and look at the risk tolerance and see the number of dependents, see also, how long that you have been working, or whether you're in a business, what is, a little bit about your cash flow through some more detailed questionnaires that we have. You kind of, through your experience and expertise, form an opinion about where the prospective investment should be planned. Because just talking, I feel, is not enough, and you don't really not able to give quantifiable information. Now, the risk tolerance form is actually qualitative. It's a qualitative tool. It's not a quantity tool. We have another, detailed questionnaire where we ask a whole lot of information on the financial background, which is the quantifiable tool. So I think a combination of this really helps us to put the, a person in the right category that we want to plan. Recently, I had somebody who was investing for 2 years. Okay, he is an old investor, but he is now ready to complete the loan payment, the entire payment for the loan. And so he had an upfront payment, which I think he got it from an older EPF or something that he was using. And since he had only 2 years, we recommended a balanced advantage fund for him. And he wrote back saying, no, I want to go in 100% equity fund. And then, we explained to him that, listen, your time frame is shorter because you have to, you have decided by December 2023 to pay up your home loan upfront. And so since we're only working in that particular time frame, this is what we recommend. And the risk tolerance form helped us because we know that, he's got young children, and this is his risk-taking ability. And also, since he had a goal which was only 2.5 years away, we don't want to take any chances because there is no choice. I mean, goal, we have to pay up the home loan because that's his priority goal. So these tools help you in making a quick decision. You don't have to get back and say, TK, we'll let you know, and again another day gone by. So when you have this information readily accessible to you, and you are constantly looking at every investor's files, then and you're very up to date, and you give them that very personal and comfortable feeling, because our aim, at least in MoneyWorks, is to be your personal CFO. So we can only be your personal CFO if you are completely understanding each client's background quickly. When you have to get back and there is a small time lag, sometimes the flavor is lost. So, I'll share with you another process that we've recently made, which is the onboarding process. Clients sometimes get confused because, we are sending them mails from the MoneyWorks support ID. Then NSE NMF is also sending a mail initially for the onboarding and, for confirmation of a client, and etc. So we've recently made this, PDF, which we send them, a PPT, etc., where they know, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, what is happening. So step 1 is obviously you filled up your own, the MoneyWorks questionnaires. Step 2 is if you've not done your KYC, then how do we help you do it, either online or offline? Step 3 is creating the investor identification number on NSE NMF. So they would get a link as well as a FATCA link. So we are informing them in advance what to expect. Step 4 is the ACH mandate. Obviously this is a very important part of the process, and they have to have accepted the NACH mandate for any transactions to happen in future. Otherwise, you have to again log into your bank or do an RTGS. So if you have an NACH mandate in place, it's just a click of a button and it's an OTP, and you're done. So the auto debit part of it, the feature, is equally important to the onboarding process. And step 5 is the financial planning. Of course, the entire document is shared at this point. So we tell them that this is what you can expect. You go through the financial plan, and then together we can make some changes if required. And if you're fine with it, then you give your approval, obviously through the mail, so that we have on record that you have okayed this, and that your confirmation and approval is there with us before we proceed. So there's also a question of, recording the client conversations, which are happening through the mail. And these steps help us in making sure that when we have suggested something, the approvals have come from the client side, so that there is no confusion later on that I meant this or I said this, or, you know, there is no misunderstanding from our side or from the investor side. So until we get the approval email, we don't proceed. You know, we make sure that all their queries are resolved earlier before we've actually sent them any kind of purchase link. So thereby ensuring that, you know, all the links go through and we are not disappointed after having put in any kind of amount of work, we're not disappointed later. And of course, the last one is you send them the payment link, okay? So which they can go through in whatever mode that they want. So by this time, you know, everybody is comfortable with each other. The investor also knows all the processes, and there is no, questions left, you know, by the time the last part goes through. So these are some of the points. And of course, we also have an app where we give them the reporting visibility on the website as well as on our app, which is also provided by Vijaya iPrism. So we give them the login details after the entire process has gone through. So they can just, you know, open the app and then see, TK, this is what my investment looks like, and they can keep in touch with their investment like this. So as far as the social media platforms go, of course, it's very necessary to all of us, for all of us to be present, you know, at least on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter, you know. So our presence has to be there, because if a future or a prospective investor wants to get an idea about you, about the services that you provide, whether you are a good match for them, the best way for them to check is, you know, your social media platforms. So if we haven't done that already, I think it's very crucial for us to start at least building up some presence on, you know, social media as well as on YouTube. I think it's not mentioned on this slide, but definitely we should also have a YouTube channel and, you know, put short videos of say 1 or 2 minutes each of whatever you feel is current, any information that you have, whether it's connected to the financial services industry or not. It's just to make sure that somebody knows what you look like and what you sound like, you know, somebody out there who's possibly looking for a good match for themselves as far as a distributor or an advisor goes. If they see your videos, they get very comfortable that, you know, and they know what to expect. So I think a lot of us do this exercise, even if you're checking for a doctor or a lawyer or a chartered accountant. So any profession that we belong to today has to have a very good social media presence. And so, of course, the YouTube is part of it, as well as LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, or Twitter, whatever you feel that you are comfortable with, okay? Because this information also has to be portraying your personality. So you can't, you know, put up something which you feel is not relevant. So if you are, you know, into exercise or yoga, or you're into health and, you know, diet food, you can always match it that these are the steps you take to achieve your financial fitness goal. Vis-a-vis, these are the steps you take to manage your, you know, financial goals. So whatever you like, and whatever, I know that, you know, Rupa, for example, is very interested in photography and traveling. And I've seen lovely posts of hers. It gives me a very clear idea, if I didn't know her so well, of what kind of a personality she is, you know. And if any of your investors, for example, has the same hobbies, you feel emotionally connected to the person who has similar interests with you. So we have this beautiful tool today, and of course we should use it. I'll share with you some of our, this is our YouTube channel, which we've shared a lot of the videos that we prepared. They're, you know, very short videos. They're a couple of minutes. And even if, there is any kind of, video which comes on Bloomberg or CNBC or any of the channels, we have the ability to edit that and to just share a little bit, a few minutes on YouTube. Of course, people don't want to watch a 30 to 40-minute video maybe. So a small edited version will definitely help anybody to find you and to make sure that you are the right match for them. So this is the YouTube channel, and you also have, small kind of, this is a little snippet of the kind of, social media images that we share. So why is health insurance necessary? What is the benefit of a limited premium insurance plan? Why do, mutual funds remain attractive even during the pandemic? Why is a gold mutual fund better than physical gold? So this is, you know, whatever is in the newspapers or whatever is topical, you kind of scan this and say, okay, this is something of interest today. Let's make a you know, a videographic or a photo, or a tool like this. So we try to take something which is topical. At the same time, it has to be short and to the point. It has your contact. So anybody reading this will feel, okay, let me get in touch with this particular business. At the same time, don't bombard social media. So, you know, make it twice a week, thrice a week, as many times as you feel that you want to say something. If you don't want to say something, don't. Because, you know, people don't want to just see your name popping up if the information is not interesting. So be careful about not bombarding too much information, but just enough to make sure that you have a presence. Okay, because this is all part of the brand building exercise. Then another excellent tool that I find is, you know, creating and conducting an investor awareness program. So I've used this tool a lot, you know, right in the beginning of my career as well, where we had a small number of, you know, small groups, say 4 or 5 people coming in. We would target the target audience, you know, plan the target audience in advance. So I was very comfortable always with women because I felt that they were an underserved lot. So whether it is working women, whether it is hazifs, whether it is women who are just starting their career. So I made a target audience. I used to invite a group of people, you know, to a restaurant, which gave me a small conference room facility. Some of them did back in the day, or even a lot of our asset management companies are happy to share their conference rooms with you. I know I've used ICICI, HDFC, DSP in whatever area that you live in, you know, whatever facilities they have, they are happy to share with us. And we can book that and, you know, invite a few people and take them through a short presentation, or, you know, all about mutual funds, what is financial planning, and then followed by a Q&A. Now, what is fantastic about this program is after having done this, you have the video and the photograph to share on your social media platforms. So it's serving two purposes. Not only have you had your event, but you've also shared that with so many more people who've not attended the event, you know, and you've created your brand building and, you know, created an image of your business in the minds of other people who may or may not invest with you right now, but at least the image is starting to build and will hold, right? So this is something that is, you know, can be really stretched. But even if you have a very small program, even if you have four to five people, because in today's COVID zamana, I think, you know, organizing a larger group might be a challenge. People are not still comfortable, but we can also hold it on Zoom, and you can take pictures of the entire Zoom event, take the screenshots and use that for social media marketing. So this has a dual, you know, opportunity that you have with an investor awareness program. Some of the slides that I share, I'm just, you know, quickly take it with you as to what does one talk about if you want to have a very basic program, an investor awareness program. This is what I share. You know, what is financial planning? Why do you use it? What are the benefits of a financial plan? You know, 3-4 points like this. Then what are the goals that you can possibly have? Why do you save? Why do you invest? What is the use of a financial plan? So whether it's retirement, whether it's insurance, whether it's cash flow management, whether it's for managing your inflation or a contingency, you know, this is like a basket of instruments, basket of benefits. And, you know, a financial planning activity or, a, you know, investment in a mutual fund can solve so many problems. Then I talk a little bit about inflation, you know, being a horrible little worm that will eat into your savings. So if you are looking at real return, it's always got to be return minus inflation. And so this is the inflation that you are dealing with and what you need to do to think out of the box, why you cannot stay in that fixed deposit instrument for much longer, and why you need to take a little more risk. So this is something that I always talk about. I talk about power of compounding, how that works so beautifully, how that's the 8th wonder of the world. I talk about the rule of 72. This also gives a very quick idea, you know, because the easiest thing that people ask is, you know, paise double kabhi ho gaye? How does my money double? So, you know, you sort of compare it to the interest rates and, you know, give a simple formula, give a simple chart, and it all gets it into perspective because, you know, images is so much more easier to understand for the human brain than words. So if you just show an image, it's very simple for somebody to understand, okay, this is what I need to do. These are the interest rates, and when will my money double? So this, I think this is also very effective information that we need to share with people. Another thing is, you compare it, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is converted to your financial phases of your life. You have a protection phase, you have an accumulation phase, and then you have a distribution phase. Depending on your age group, this is what you need to do. If you haven't done it already, then you go back and you start from the protection phase. That's something that you do in your early part of your career with your first income. If you haven't done it, if you've reached 40 or 35 and you haven't done it, okay, let's go back and let's tick the boxes from protection. So this also is another visual which shows people that they really need to do, tick all the boxes in the financial journey. Then what are you adding, to the table? What is your role? So this is also something that I like, that you tell them that you're not only the advisor stroke distributor, but you're also the Sarathi, you're also the leader, you're also the coach, you're also somebody who's going to be walking this journey with them so that you're not alone, because a lot of times wives and families know nothing. I recently had an investor who was divorced, and he just got divorced through the Muslim Marriage Act, through the Shariat. And we noticed that, he came to us through some other, wealth management companies. And we noticed that all of the investments have his wife, his ex-wife, as a second holder. Okay. And nobody had bothered to tell him that. That, you're no longer married, and therefore it is important for you now to take some action. And the only way that you can take action right now is by redemption, because there's no way that you can delete, And the lady in question has already got her alimony and whatever she is supposed to get from the dissolution of the marriage. So may no longer have any interest in the financial portfolio, which is also considerably large. It was between 5 to 10 crores. So until we noticed it and we are taking the action, nobody had followed up on this. And so this is something that, only an interested person, like your own financial planner who is working with you side by side, will be able to take, because they know you so well. We happen to know that he got divorced. So obviously we immediately brought this to his attention. So this sort of a thing is, it has a lot of social connotations. Our job is not only to manage the money, but it is to manage the entire family through various phases of their life, So recently we had somebody who became a widow and had no idea about her financial investments at all. We went back to her, the banks and to the insurance companies, and gave her literally a step-by-step approach that you need to do this 1, 2, 3, 4 to get all your monies together. We did the planning in the early part of 2020. Of course, it was all in, dynamic asset allocation funds. We didn't take any risk. But of course, again, in March and April, the market tanked. And we had a lot of handholding and a lot of tears to handle, because she had invested all her money, which was about 1.5 crores. And, just after having got into this activity, there was a sudden, as we all know, the pandemic, which we couldn't have foreseen. And so, we really had to handhold her, make sure that we don't take any quick decisions, just to keep her satisfied, handheld her for the whole year. And by end of the year, she was flying, and she's a very, very satisfied investor today. She knows she's taken the right decision. But that 1 year was a lot of tears for her and for me, because I felt that I had this huge burden of responsibility on this widow who had young children. And, I knew that I had taken the right decisions for her, but for me to prove that point to her took a long time. So it's really a lot of investment of ourselves, not only our time, into this activity. So that's some of the things that will help us to take our business to the next level, if we think like that. And of course, invest in yourself, invest in ourselves. So read, learn, join trainings, peer group interactions, very much similar to the FIFA event today. We're very, obliged to FIFA for continuously offering these talks, which we can take from the comfort of our homes and offices, but interact with so many people, so many thoughts, earn certifications. There are various certifications going on. So it's always good to have your name and, at least a couple of certifications after that, to show, your investors that you are here to stay, that you mean business. And of course, own your brand. You are your brand. This is one business. And, most professionals, it is your name and your, what your brand will consist of. So you have to have a sense of ownership and say, yes, ye mera hai. How do I make it work? So these is few of my snippets from my very interesting journey in financial services. And we'll open it up for the Q&A now.
Thank you, Nisreen. Thank you so much. I think this was a completely very different session, and all of us. It was very insightful for people to think out of the box and what they can do. I think one thing which connected for me was saying that what I learned today was how do you portray yourself as with your personality. I think that was such a wonderful statement, and I think it had so much meaning to it, because your personality drives you as an individual. Because when you sit in front of your client, I think that personality is what is very important to build your relationship over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I think it's so important, and which you highlighted. So I've said people to put the questions on the chat, and I will be taking forward all the questions what are there on the chat. But I like to ask you a few things, which are when I was hearing you. One of the things was you said how important social media helps you, correct, to be recognized and to be there in the financial services gamut, and you are there in the presence. How has it helped you, and how many of the clients have approached you through that channel?
So, to be very honest, Rupa, the analytics has not been done by me. So I cannot tell you, with quantifiable certainty that these are people who approached me from LinkedIn or from Facebook or from Instagram or from Twitter. Very difficult for me to say that at my level, because we haven't really done the analytics. But I think broadly speaking, when I select another professional that I want to go to, I usually do some checking in the background before I actually pick up the phone and make an appointment. I'm assuming because there is an overload of information today, most people that I want to deal with have done this exercise for me as well, to check if I'm a good fit, and then they take it up with, maybe the appointment, and they may or may not come back to work with me. So that's the reason that I feel that, you can't be blank in this, scenario that we live in today. So therefore, you have to have a certain presence. But having said that, I do not have the data and the analytics to tell you that the 50% of the, prospective investors or the recent entries have come through this particular channel. I don't know, but we continue to do this. And maybe a little later down the line, I'll have an analytics firm working with me to give me the actual data. At this point, I don't think I need it. So we're just stopping at building this as a brand exercise.
So I'll share with you my experience on social media. I'm not a very, very social media person. So I never had a website or anything for all my life. But my experience has been saying that because I have given us so many of my interviews over a period of time in televisions and everything, I think I've got 5% of my clients who have searched across the globe and come and said that we would like to take your help and assistance in our investment journey. So I resonate about what you say, saying that how that social media presence happens, because it's just not in India. I think you are recognized all around the globe, because people, NRIs, everybody would like to come to India, or when they want to, I think they do research and they do take your background checks, and it just helps. And I can actually endorse that, saying that it definitely helps for as an individual to create a brand for yourself. I think which was one of your statements which I liked was own your brand. It is how do you make it work for you? I think that was absolutely resonating in my mind, saying that it's very essential. Of course, I think there is a question by Daksha Sharma who writes, what is the role of social media marketing in this? I think you have covered, or if you want to add something, you definitely can, Nisreen.
So Daksha, as I said earlier, it's basically part of your brand building exercise, and you use that, for creating the brand, and to make sure that, you are top of mind when any of your, people in your vicinity want to start investing. So that's, the social media marketing is all about.
I think we lost Nisreen. Faiz, can you just speak to Nisreen? I think we've lost her. Sorry.
I'm calling her. Ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello. Ma'am,
Yeah.
we have lost you. Yeah, you need to reconnect.
She back?
No, not yet.
Yeah, sorry, I think I got lost for a while, but I think I just answered Daksha. I hope she heard me.
Sure, sure.
So,
So there's one more question which talks about saying that Aravind Muthu Advan says that could you share your rundowns of Google Sheet? That's what he has asked. And the second question is, which software is this? What is the cost? I think they are relating this. Madhusudan has asked this question, and I think this is relating to your Morningstar software.
okay, so basically, in the rundowns, it's just a task. So, what is a task for which investor? What is the folio? What is the name of the fund? Who's responsible for the follow-up? And then what is step 2? So this is just to take over from step 1 to step 2 so that it's all detailed. A lot of us are using software for this as well. We are not using software because we want to customize it and just make it on a simple Excel sheet to just tell you what is the follow-up, after a particular transaction has been initiated. So it's just a plain Excel sheet. It says a name of the investor, name of the fund, the folio number, what is the action and who has to take that action and what is the follow-up. So that's it as far as a rundown is concerned. And the second query was regarding the Morningstar Advisor workstation. So I think you can connect with Morningstar, and I can't remember top of hat what was the subscription or the fees that we pay annually, but it's an annual subscription, and we find it very useful. And also because the report that you give to a prospective investor or to your regular investors, if they ask you for any comparison, is a very, very detailed report. It's a very, it shows that you've done your homework and you're answering with a lot of confidence. So I like that. So you can connect with Morningstar and check the rates. I'm not very sure.
So I think Suyas Kabra, he's from Jaipur. He has the same question which I asked you, Nisreen. He says that he says this was a great session. Just wanted to ask how the social media, YouTube and Insta, help you grow your business, and have you gotten any leads for their per se?
So, the thing is that whether the leads come through YouTube or through any other channel, if somebody is asking you, what is the kind of work that you do, I'm just sending them the link, because, how much information can you have on the website? It's very boring. So rather than, me introducing myself and taking all the effort that this is what I've done, this is how long I've been in the industry, you send them a link of the YouTube, then they see you for what you are. They know that you are confident. This is what the kind of work that you've done. These are the, possibly the newspapers that you've been reported in. These are the channels that you featured in. So it's so much easier, for you to introduce yourself through visible channels rather than, the other way around. As I mentioned to Rupa earlier, I don't have the data or the analytics, so I cannot say with certainty what is the percentage of people that I've got from YouTube or from the other channels. But I continue to do it with the faith that somebody out there is observing, watching, and trying to judge me before they approach me. Okay, so that's in a nutshell.
So Nilesh K writes here saying that ki it's a wonderful session. How to update all the time about our industry and also suggest a course or any program for updating our skills?
So as I said earlier, there is so much, skills. I mean, every asset management company has literally every week 2 to 3 sessions. Okay, Franklin Templeton has a learning academy. HDFC has a learning academy. Edelweiss has it. So if you register with any of their learning academies, they will send you the entire schedule. And whatever you like in whatever language of your choice, also whether it is English or Hindi, you can register yourself for it. So go on their websites. Each of them have a teaching or a schedule that they're doing for training. Even there is Network FP, there's FIFA. So a lot of our peer groups are also running these programs side by side. And whatever you find that you are lacking in, because I continuously log on to any training that I am interested in, the topic that I feel that I am lacking or I need some more information on. So just, be a self-learner. And if nothing else, there are umpteen YouTubes on every possible topic that we want to watch. Okay, they're put up besides asset management companies. They also put up by Amit Trivedi and a lot of our sort of teachers and trainers in our industry. So you'll find that to be a very simple exercise. Just Google, put it on YouTube and say, this is what I want information on, and you'll get a range of YouTubes. And all pretty much short. Some of them are 2 to 3 hours, but you can do it over a period of time.
Also, I think, Ms. Reen, I think the technology has been so excellent in the last, when we started off 20 years back, we didn't have all of these opportunities.
Absolutely.
But I think in the last 8 to 10 years, I think this has been so amazing that you go on the YouTube and want to hear maybe even experts across the globe on
Exactly.
philosophy of investing. At the end of it, you and me are handling investment is all about emotions. It's not about which fund, which scheme, what about it.
Absolutely.
It's about you. It's about investor behavior, how
Right.
to handle them. Now, markets have started correcting in the last few days. I'm sure clients are going to be concerned about this correction. There are people who are going to get calls, what is to be done. But
Right.
I think what I learn is saying that when you hear the experts across their YouTube videos, I think it just gives you that conviction and the confidence about how to handle those situations.
Right.
So I think all of us have the same media. I think, as Nisreen said, hearing videos on YouTube, I also hear videos on YouTube to reinforce ourselves what we believe in and how we can articulate our communication.
Exactly. And also, I think at a period of time, people are not really interested in how you're handling their portfolios. They only want to know whether they can trust you.
Yeah,
so if you watch a lot of TEDx talks on various topics, if you can hold your forte in other topics besides financial management, I think there also there is a bit of learning, because you can't be, blindsided and only know about your line of work. You have to be also well informed about various things, because the investors are, interested in many topics. They are coming from various backgrounds, various countries, their various interests. So if you can touch, somebody and hold a conversation on any point, they are really not interested which fund or what. They want to know only that, can we trust XYZ? Are they going to handle my portfolio for a long period of time with the ability and confidence that I expect from them? They don't really want to know whether you're dealing with HDFC, DSP, ICICI, Edelweiss. They are not interested. They don't know about the funds. They don't know balance advantage, fixed income, equity, so many types of choices. That is all your expertise and education in the background. But in the front of it, you can't bore them with all these topics. I don't talk about this at all. I just tell them, this is what we've planned. And, if you trust me, you work with me. So that's the reason that I've talked about social media marketing, is that this is where, you can start building, developing a rapport even before you met somebody, or even after you meet, because they'll just continuously see your videos and say, okay, this person knows what they are talking about. And they have a competent team to, match this expertise. Even if you are working single, see, when we start our careers, you're obviously not going to have the bandwidth. You're going to be a single person who's going to be doing everything. You're going to be filling the forms. You're going to be talking to the investor. You're also going to do a little bit of social media. So just, don't get disheartened and do a little bit of everything. So if you set up a schedule and say, okay, on Saturday, I'm going to do my social media marketing. Monday to Friday, I'm going to do my, R&D, my business development and my operational things. And maybe in the evenings, I'm going to do a little bit of sales calls. So I do understand that if you partition your time and use the processes and platforms that I talked about earlier, even a single person can turn to be, use their time very effectively and manage your business professionally.
Absolutely. Again, Madhusudan, we write saying that kindly suggest a very powerful and useful certificate courses related to MFDs to educate investors.
All right. So certified financial planning, the FPSB, that's the Financial Planning Standards Board of India, provides CFP. There's Chartered Wealth Manager, CWM. And Network FP is also providing a certification called QPFP, I think. So all of us, I mean, there are various, certifications available. You can explore any of these.
Perfect. So I think, is there any more questions that people have? I think this was the last one. I don't know if somebody is writing, but one thing which in your entire presentation, what I realized is saying that you feel saying that technology is an enabler and which has helped you bring in at least execution of your transactions to be much better and faster. Is that what I can understand? If you would like to elaborate on them for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So today, we have a lot of talk about AI and robotic investors and, things like that. But I think we need to use the robo and technology in our background because still people want the human touch and feel, and the brick and mortar business, I think especially in our line of work and especially with a more mature and then older investor. The younger lot of people are very, very comfortable with doing everything on their own and, using the robos and making their mistakes and learning from them. But I think at a certain level, when they also become mature investors and the portfolio becomes larger, they will need a human face and touch. So we should use technology to the best of our ability in our background. Of course, so you are the face of the business, but you can use technology effectively to make your processes more efficient. That's what I would suggest.
So, Nisreen, there's a question from Vijay Thakur. He writes saying that what are the potential risks to our business with regard to direct plans?
So, direct plans have been in the industry for a very long time. I mean, it's nothing new. And at the same time, the percentage of business going direct has not overtaken the regular, business. So that speaks for itself. It's, when you travel, you have a travel agent as well as you can go on any, make my trip and clear trip and Skyscanner and do it yourself. So I also do both. I do, if it's an easy planning, I do it myself. If it's a little more complicated, I approach my travel agent. Very similarly, you have both the options available. It depends on the investor's comfort and whether you want to do it yourself or you need somebody to handhold you. The percentage that you pay, the difference is very marginal. So that's the reason that you need to add value to your services, okay? Because the difference between regular and direct, the percentage is small enough for the investor to know about it and to want to pay because you want that service. So that's the reason that we need this, use technology in the background, use your processes, use your platforms, have your digital presence in social media to make that value, obviously surmountable. So direct has always been there, but that has not stopped us from working, right? And growing.
So I think, Vijay, I like to answer here saying that, so, we are in a competitive world where you will have different class of people who will like different class of way they want to approach their practice and business. Now, if you look at saying that you still have Kirana stores and you still have Amazon, which is there. But the Kirana stores also are successful in their old domain and the Amazon also works on side by side. So that doesn't mean that Amazon is going to have a direct impact on a Kirana store which is close by. Because there are a lot of things that a Kirana store gives you is saying that if you call a Kirana store and if I want a stuff in 1 hour, I'm able to get that in 1 hour. Whereas if I order on Amazon, I have to wait for 2 days or 3 days to get that particular thing. So, there's a very thin line. I think it's all about the choices that all of us make, and we are all going to coexist in this whole system. 5% is the penetration in the financial space that we have, and India is a huge market. You will have directs, and so it's just that was Nisreen said, saying that we have to have the value that we have to justify, that what is that we bring in on the table where the client finds it and that starts doing and relating business with us. I think that's the essence, and that's why we do these events every month, for you to take away and see that how you can improvise your practice. And we are getting the people who have been into the practice for the last 15-20 years and still feel that the potential to grow is very high. Each of us take away from each of these programs and say that how do I bring in better excellence into our practice and business. So that's very essential, and I hope we have answered, Vijay. So there's very beautifully, Suhas has written saying that taking a medicine after consulting a doctor will always give you more peace of mind rather than buying it directly from a pharmacy.
Absolutely right. Very well said.
So, and one important thing that I would highlight from what Nisreen said. So, you have youngsters who go on direct platforms and buy and they experiment, because please try to understand, saying that the amount of money that they are actually betting on is a very small, minuscule. It could be 2 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. But the moment your portfolio becomes 20, 30 lakhs of rupees, I don't see people coming and experimenting on their own, because the risk associated when your money becomes 30, 40, 50 lakhs, your risk taking ability starts reducing, and that's the time people will come to you who need assistance from all of you. Ronald, I think Nisreen has logged out. Can you just tell her to log in, please?
Yeah, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah.
Now she's logged in.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Rupa, I think I'm
Yeah.
having.
So Nisreen, one more question which I wanted to ask you was, there was one thing that you said, images are so interesting for human beings, right? For being expressive to be human beings, because I also believe that pictures are something which depict a lot of meaning rather than what we talk.
Right.
It's very simple. This is what the anecdote which I use always. When a child is born, when we are teaching it ABCD, we buy a book to show what is an apple, correct?
Right.
Image stuck within your mind. In the same way, I think, so I would like you to elaborate more on that, because that's where I think most of us as MFDs across the country, which we need to emphasize in our communication.
So basically, I learned this with my daughter, who I used to teach when she was a younger student, say from the 4th to the 10th standard. Just showing her the books and just telling her the information was always boring, and she would be in La La Land, and I would be just going on and on and on. And when I converted the entire, I quickly picked up that this is not interesting for her, and then I converted the entire subject into a PPT, whether it was geography or whether it was history. And then immediately I got her attention and her marks went up. So that's, I learned very early on that a lot of people actually are not interested in the words, and they cannot understand or decipher audio or, written language. It's a brain thing. It's, it's how your brains and your neurons are working, that you are not able to follow and you cannot understand what the other person is saying. Now in our business, things are so complicated. There are charts, there are numbers, there's figures, and it's, I mean, as it is, mathematics is so, deadly or overpowering for so many people that they, even if you just talk about figures, they get, very sort of worried and nervous. And then top of that, you're trying to give them a whole lot of explanation as to SIPs, banking, prospective, yields, YTMs. It can be very disheartening for, I think, 50 to 60% of the population. It's just that we, because it's in our industry and because it's our work, we fat give all these figures and these names and all that. But it can be very scary for, I think, a large percentage of the population. But the minute you bring pictures into, into the conversation, you show a graph. When you're talking about inflation, you show 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, how much you are able to proceed with. So over a period of time, having been, delivering a lot of the investor awareness programs and figuring out that people are more comfortable understanding what you're saying through a picture rather than you talking about words or showing them just, Excel sheets. Our business is all about Excel sheets, cash flow management. If you put money today, 10 years, it will be worth so much. It's all about numbers. But if the same thing is converted to a picture, the person will understand like that. So I have changed my way of talking and also trying to explain. See, I'm thinking with numbers because that's how we are trained to think now. But the opposite person sitting across the table is not understanding your numbers. But if you show him some nice visuals, if you explain that this is what this product is planning to do, a balanced advantage category or a dynamic, it's got a bit of this and a bit of that. You show 2 pie charts intertwined, then they understand, okay, equity bhi hai, debt bhi hai, and some amount of arbitrage. See, these things are very, very difficult to understand for a layman who is not in the finance field at all. So, but if you show it pictorially and you give some explanation, I think it's important for us to communicate what we are doing to the best of our ability. And showing these Excel sheets and fact sheets and all, I think standard deviation, Sharpe and Trainer, everybody's lost. Yeah. Everybody's lost. In fact, our own community is lost. Forget about investors.
Absolutely.
So this is what the background, we do all the number crunching in the background, but I desist from bringing that to the table. I try not to veer the conversation away because anyway, we can't guarantee anything if you're talking about an equity fund or a debt fund. So why get into the number crunching at all? So it's better to just talk about the concept, and concepts are more easy to explain visually.
I take this and I can connect it to, if you go to when you're getting married, or if you're going to a designer, or if you go these days, I think what they do is saying that they display a particular kind and style of outfit, which could be a men's outfit or a woman's outfit. And they don't come and tell us saying that, oh, I have to cut how many cuts and I have to stitch how much and I have to do how many embroideries and everything. But he just shows and displays to you how this will look good on you. I think that's one of the things, saying that in the same way, we have to curate it in such a way, saying that how will this look for you better? Rather than saying that what are, as you rightly said, what is a standard deviation, I think it has to be curated well and presented well.
Really. I mean, the background, whatever we do, how many stitches we take, how we make the biryani is our problem. How much vegetables you had, how much onions you had, how much masala you had, that is our problem. He's interested in the dish.
Yeah.
So present the dish visually.
Absolutely. That's the essence of what you said. And I'm glad that you explained this very well, because I have also the belief saying that pictures speak more than words. And I've been doing that for years together, and it has helped a lot in my communication with the clients and understanding of the clients.
Oh.
And so I think we have rundown of those questions, but I think, Nisreen, it was a wonderful presentation because it gives, all of us talked about markets, but this basic presentation was about for ourselves, for all the MFDs who were there, saying that how do they improvise, How can they bring better practice into their system? What can they use technologically to see that they can market themselves, create a brand for themselves, how they can make their presence. And I hope this session was helpful for everyone. And we thank you and Nisreen, thank you so much for coming. First of all, agreeing in such a short period and doing this wonderful presentation. And we look forward, in case you have any more questions, you can write to us and we will forward it to Nisreen and we can get her answers. But thank you so much, Nisreen. And it's a Diwali weekend. Wish everyone a happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year. I'm sure that the next 1 year is going to be fantastic for us, just like the one last year was. And all the very best. Wish you a happy Diwali and a very, very prosperous New Year. And thank you so much, Nisreen.
Thank you so much, everybody, all the participants, FIFA and Rupa, and a very, very happy Diwali to all of us, and especially to our industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.